Thank you for your love and support. The new HTS is wireless. Let's go! Sorry, this was my Chinese is not so good. No, it's just a joke, guys. I think most of you know this, the sentence, or where some people are dropping this "thank you for your love" thing. Kind of goes up to a meme level, like Final Boy, but it's okay. This is my very late review on the HTS. Why it's so late? Because there was a lot of good reviews already out there, and I got my mouse from X-Ray Pad. I ordered it myself. There was no pre-sample I got sent to. And no, I was not angry when I posted about my question on Twitter, where I asked other reviewers to receive 3 samples of this for also giving them away to the community if they think they are good reviewers. It was mainly about my real hardcore frustration about super high DPI deviation in the very first firmwares and software versions of this one. I was checking them, besides I was checking the Pulsar X-Lite basically on the same day. I made my researches myself here in my little room with checking the 360 movement, how many centimeters it needs, how many DPIs, and I was just like, I was a little bit shocked because I thought the 3037 sensor in here is so good, or it was so good that there was like basically 0 DPI deviation, but yeah. The opposite was the thing who took place, and that's why I posted this. So there was no offense to Freshie or Andrew or someone else who received it instead of me. I'm glad that smaller YouTuber like us, or even a little bit bigger guys, received samples and were able to make good reviews, honest reviews on a product they liked, and a product which is made basically by g-sevlow in the commitment, or with the help and the everything what other people reported from previous models of the HTS. So that's a solid product, and I'm glad g-sevlow is working this way. Just to clarify this, and I just doing this review right now because there was a firmware update some days ago which reduced the jitter on the sensor. Basically, or honestly, on the very first tests I've did, there was basically no jitter on the sensor. So I have no idea which people or who had jitter on the sensor. Maybe I had a better version, I don't know. Let's start like always. It will come in the normal g-sevlow box. You know this box, it's very good, high class, extra paracord. There will be these small dongle inside, so no big antenna anymore, and basically everything you know from g-sevlow, these high class grips, still some of the best grips of the market in my opinion. Even most aftermarket grips can't top the quality and the grip. Besides, they're a little bit thick, or a little bit more heavy than others. In general, the HTS shape never really changed. It's always the same. I played HTS for very long term on Valorant, on Apex. I started with the very first HTS version in Europe from X Gaming. After this, I basically cooped every version. Also was pretty eager to get one of the first versions with sensor ring, and then I bought the limited special universe edition, which was the first with Kales, for example. So I have a lot of models and a lot of different HTS here. It's like, I would say I have over 25 different versions. No, not different versions, but over 25 mice of HTS, and like basically I think 8 to 10 different versions. Different glides, different clicks, PCBs, some wireless, some non-wireless, all the stuff, different painting, all you can imagine. So basically, I'm a veteran, or the master sergeant of HTS wireless mice in Europe, and I will talk about this one now. As always, it comes in the normal shape, as I said. The latest version of the grips are, you had like the same like they were before. At one point some months ago or 6 months ago, they said they want to improve the grips to make them thinner but still as grippy. No improvement for now. The glides are still the same. There's not a version, or there's not a newer version with maybe the ceramic glides they want to introduce. Basically what I felt or I saw when I compared to all my others, the glides became a little bit bad, or the quality went down a little bit. I had the feeling, cause it looked like the edges are like have a little hump and then goes into the I don't know how to explain. It looks like they're not that even, or they are like these little holes. Like, I don't know. Looks scratchy for me, but one thing I can assure you, it's not scratchy. I tested it on the Aqua Control Black pad, which is a rough microcontrol pad by X-Ray pad, and I tested it on the TheWhale linear control pad prototype, which I have here, which will be introduced soon by us to you in many different graphic options, but it's still a very high grade linear control pad. And even there, where the surface is also kind of structured rough, but it's a real fabric, there is basically no scratch feeling. So besides the thing you saw right now, there's no problem with the glides. It glides smooth. The DPI button looks, not the DPI button, I'm sorry. The button for the on off looks a little bit off for me. It looks a little bit loose, not that high quality. The rest of the shell is really good. They really improved the shell, to be honest. One of the first, when you done like this, very squeezy. These guys are not squeezing here right now anymore. So it's good. The side button's working, by the way. So it's pretty good. They improved a lot over the years with the overall stability and structure of the shell. I'm very glad they did this. So what we have to talk about now is why it become an ace version is that they improved the sensor from a 3335 pixel to a 3370, which I said already was, or I'm where I thought of is a very high grade premium wireless sensor, but basically it still has high DPI deviations and needs a lot of performance enhancement by a good MCU, by a good Nordic MCU or some other MCU brands. So you need a really good implementation. You need a guy who really knows what he's doing when he programs the MCU for the sensor. And because if it's done badly, you feel jitter, you feel delay, it feels kind of off, the DPI deviation is too high, the power consumption is too high or too low, all the stuff, guys. There's a lot of things. Doing wireless is way more complicated than doing a wired mouse, cause of the polling, of the power consumption general, of the battery, of the charging system. There's a lot of stuff. So what they've done here is very solid work. They improved from the very first version, the normal, the not ace version, which was kind of black with some white dots and black buttons on the side. So you can optically divide them very good. One looks like the old ones, and the last one, the first ace, is a translucent blue one. Translucent blue also looks very cool for me. As nothing I can say much more about the shell and everything, it's all good. It feels very valuable. The clicks hearing good. It's still the Kate 8.0 clicks, the Black Mamba clicks, which are one of the most snappy 80 million clicks who are out there. Maybe some Hurano, Blues, Pink Dots are equal, but the force is a little bit higher there. You need a little bit more force to press them. So it's pretty nice, pretty decent made. Some of these copies, or general, some of the hotties of the plastic versions have some problems with a click bump. It's when you would click it here. Mine don't have this problem. It would be like a little plastic bump which need to go over to really click. It feels like you need to double click or extra force a second click. If you have this flaw, send it back to your reseller or to your seller and try to get a new one, because that's a major flaw. That's a quality issue. For now, I just go directly. We talked about the clicks already. The mouse wheel is also good. It's like always. It's clicky. It's tactile. Sounds good. All good. It is not off. It is centered on my version. They improved the PCB. It's a brand new PCB compared to all the other hotties I've had. Not only that it is wide right now, it's has a different new MCU. It's totally fitted to the 3370 sensor. It's kind of good. It's still a little bit large, and I saw already some new PCB pictures of newer versions of HSK Plus, for example, and G will still try to improve the size, so they want to save weight with better PCB design, and they are really on it. So they're still improving from product, from model to model, also from version to version. Sometimes you will not see and feel it, but mostly they do something, believe me. If there comes a new version, they have done already something even without telling you. And basically why I've done this video is because of the new firmware version, which is out there, which reduced the jitter on the sensor, as they said. But also because 2 days ago they announced that there will be a new batch of these HTAs wireless. I don't know if they will improve anything on it, but to be honest, I think there will be improvements. I think they will overwork the sensor management to have a lower DPI deviation by forcing a little higher voltage on the MCU and on the sensor, which basically will give you a higher power drain and a lower longevity of your battery capacity. But it's good because you want to perform. It's a performance gaming mouse and not I don't know, a desktop mouse. So it's good, they improved, they do a lot, they still work. I show you the software now, which is very good, and then I give you my roughly feelings. That's the software. It's compared to the old softwares a little bit better. That's basically, or that's based on the firmware or construction API Pixar gives you for the 3370. Of course, you control it over there, and if you know how this looks and you know how the software, for example, of the Superlight looks, they look very equal, and that's because they basically build out of the same things, you know. One thing I really enjoy is that they heard the people that those 4 or 2 ms debounds were way too high for the KLs for wired version, and now on the wireless there's a possibility to step the debounce time on 1 millisecond steps up to 30 milliseconds, starting at 0 milliseconds, which is very good. I had no double click issues with this on any point, so that means for me it's very solid made. The MCU is working good, and the in general data transferring over the 1000 Hz polling over the wireless dongle is also very solid. There was no problem for me so far. You can totally configure all buttons here. For me, there don't need to be a DPI button anymore. That's my honest opinion, because I think DPI buttons are outdated and may save you 3 grams. Another thing I forgot about the shell is that the battery is like here on top below the DPI button. Maybe you can see it a little bit. This makes one big problem for me, that the weight feels like you drive an SUV. The point of the weight where you feel it is not low over the pad, it's like high. And if you grip it like this, or you have an asynchronous grip, which may lead to this, to lift off on one of the sides or on one of the corners, this will makes the possibility stronger. So it could be, or there's a higher chance of a lift off of an edge or of a side when you have an grip which is like off, which forces the mouse more to a side to lift off on an edge or on a side. Maybe that's when the weight is up. But there are a lot of weight mods out there already, which are made very easy. You can just put out the battery there on top. You can put in a smaller battery in, and then you can just also pack it somewhere else in the mouse. To be honest, I would pack it behind here. I don't care about if I see the RGB, I would just put it there, to be honest. Which will lead you to another problem, just in general made by the glides. If you have a mouse with different glides, where you have a bigger glide pad at the end or at the top, a bigger glide is always more friction, and more friction leads to an head, or so an overhead, or to an over-end movement. Here it's an overhead movement, because the bigger friction on the end and the lower friction on the edge makes the mouse rotate over the endpoint, so it will make this movement faster which may lead you to problems when you play high DPI, low or high sense, because the way you grip it, maybe more in front, is better for you because it's easier, because you have more control, but the more you grip it in the end, and the more uncontrollable it gets, because this the higher friction here in the end will make the turning point harder. So the hard feeling will distract you maybe. But honestly, I played it over here, totally playable. You can reach Immortal in Valorant with it, you can get Master in Apex with it, and I'm fucking 36-year-old and I've done it. So everybody can do it with this mouse, to be honest. So software very good, zero MSD bounce, very nice. Preset 4 DPI stages starting at 400, going over to 800, 1600, and 3200. Due to the first problems with the DPI deviation, and a lot of people were contacting g-sevlow, also me. g-sevlow made something, I don't know if it was already in the first version, because the first version of the software looked a little bit different to this one, and I think the steps were only 100 DPI, but now, for example, if you are like 30 or 60 DPI off, that's no problem anymore, because you can change in 50 DPI steps, but if you, for example, do 1620, it will not work. It will make 1600, but you can do 1650, for example. So if you know your mouse is like 1560 DPI instead of 1600, you just set it to 1650 here, and here you go, you have a lower DPI deviation. That's it. You can check it with software, websites. There are different ways. You can do it in-game with a 360 degrees turn, just by measure the whole way you need with a normal mouse, or just look in Kovacs how many centimeters with your set DPI at your game settings is the 360 turn, and you can do it software or whatever you want. Just check it please and try to find the right DPI for you. But then there's also one thing with the DPI setting here, which is, I don't know if it's just a thing, or because I know people who really had problems with this because they did not understand. For example, you put it out of the box. It's basically set to 400 DPI, 250 megahertz. That's when you put it out of the box. Looks basically like this. And you just decide to just want to play 1 DPI all the time. Also, you only want to use 1 DPI setting. Also, Windows, you just put it to the 800, for example. You want to 800 is pretty common right now. I will put it to 1600, because in future you will put it to 3200. Mark my words, next year at this time you will play 3200 because you want to play 4800 hertz. So then you say, okay, only 1 DPI stage. No, wait, give me a second. Yeah, you played DPI stage 3 already, 1600, but you don't want to have 3 more. You say, okay, I only use 1, and I set it the first to 1600. But the thing is, right now, okay, it's 1600, but it's not really activated, because if I change it to 50, it's still 1600. If I change it to I don't know, set 18,000 DPI, it's still 1600. Why? The problem is, to enter the only 1 DPI stage, you need to press 1 time the DPI button. So the number behind gets red. If the number is not red, on any DPI profile or any way you use it, if the number is not getting red, you've not changed it or activated. For example, if we go DPI 6 now and we set to 2 DPI, 1600, no one of this is activated because I need to press DPI 1 time. So yeah, that's basically it. Keep this in mind, please. You can put DPI, the DPI effects here with breathing, with the brightness here in the backside, some modes. Polling rate I would set to 1000 Hertz. It's a little bit more consuming of battery power. That's totally okay, because still you want to play performance mouse. Lift off distance 1 and 2 millimeters. 1 millimeter is not really true because it's 1.2 to be honest, but that's okay. It's 1 millimeter for you. Ripple control, angel snapping is, I don't know who needs this on a gaming mouse. Ripple control is basically if you jitter like this, it will make the jitter or the ripple more straight, so it more looks like a line, and angel snapping is pretty much the same. please don't use it. It goes over the MCU, over the CPU, and needs calculation power and time. It will hire your total MS of the mouse. Right now I don't have the LDOT setup. I have it here already as I do this video, but I still need to set up it. If I do this, I will do another video and we will also latency test this one and the first version. So that's basically all I can say about this. I hope in 3 or 4 weeks from now there's a possibility to maybe buy on X-Ray Pad some of them, or even worldwide. I don't know. They announced they will produce some of these. Maybe they are a little bit updated, a little bit better. I hope so for everyone. And that's just for you who are just basically interested in my point of view and opinion. I can tell you, for me, it's totally easy to play with this mouse. I told you, you can reach basically everything with this. It's a good performer. And honestly, I don't care anymore about that these are 58 gram or something like that. It's okay, guys. You basically, if it's below 60 gram, just play it. It's wireless, it's freedom of mind. It's enjoyable, quality is good, prices are like $120 US. On X-Ray Pad. For Europeans, it will be way higher. It's like basically just make these numbers in euro. Even you also can add 10 euro, to be honest, on Max Gaming. And let's see if you will be able to get one of these guys in near future, before newer mice came out or up from different producers, or even from g-sevlow itself. Thanks you for watching so far, guys. See you on the next Hutty or whatever review. I think I will have a review soon which will kick you out of everywhere, because I have also known something which nobody knows right now, and I'm really satisfied about this. See you soon. Bye, guys.